I was also getting triggered every single day because it's a wedding website. So, wedding. Hindi matutuloy yung wedding ko. Hindi matutuloy yung wedding ko. So, like, how do I deal with this?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the boot camp for grown-ups in progress. Camp Confidence.
Hello, mga madam, and welcome back to another episode of Camp Confidence. I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys about this topic kasi medyo ano tayo today. Well, I think it's a really helpful topic because we're talking about mental health.
Agree.
And it's the foundation of everything that we do. A healthy mind is the best way to live life, honestly. And I think when I started getting to understand my own mental health, mas naging better person ako all around in all areas of my life. So yeah, that's our topic for today. Madam Rizza, question. When was the first time you realized mental health was important?
I think during the lowest part of my life, when I first experienced the lowest part of my life, na parang, oh my gosh, wala akong ibang makapitan. Kundi yung sarili.
Nakwento mo na ba to before?
Yung the back-to-back scams.
Yung na-scam
Yung
siya.
okay, for context, yung dun sa mga hindi pa masyadong earlier days namin to.
Ng camp confidence.
To keep the story super short, I got scammed to the tune of 5 million pesos by 3 different people.
My
Syempre,
gosh.
nung kabataan ko pa yan, parang early 20s, ganyan.
Early 20s
Yeah,
pala yun.
early 20s. And then, I was doing business, parang, kakaumpisa ko pa lang. Tapos parang, I felt na sobrang wala akong ibang makapitan. Syempre, si Josh, kasama ko siya. Parang, where do I find that strength? Tapos parang feeling ko nun, ako na lang mag-isa. How do I cope?
Yeah.
Ganon.
So,
I felt like, yun nga, and then, hindi pa ako parang into therapy noon. Parang hindi ko pa alam yung mga ganyan-ganyan. Parang I started parang consuming content, consuming books that delved more into the mindset, mental health, mga limiting beliefs, ganyan. And dun ko na-realize na, kasi dati nung earlier days, parang hindi pa ganun ka-accessible yung therapy.
That's
and
true.
No one really talks about that. Parang that was circa 2013, 2014, 10 years ago, or earlier, or later than that, earlier than that pa. So, parang wala pa masyadong access to therapy, ganyan. Sabi ko, shocks, what if, parang napatanong na din ako nun before na what if merong resource that would help people like me na na-experience yun? Parang, paano if it gets accessible? And now, I'm happy that it's more accessible sa generation ngayon. I mean,
I think ang biggest barrier to therapy now, because thankfully it's no longer taboo, but the biggest barrier is how much it costs. It's still so expensive. So even, like, again, when I was starting out, wala talaga eh. But again, we'll share resources later on. Kasi during my first time in therapy, I actually went to a place that was pay what you can. So, alaking bagay nun sobra sa akin. But ako, first time kong na-realize na I needed therapy was when I was already doing everything I could and hindi ko pa rin siya maayos. Like, I couldn't get anything done. I was so sad. And the anxiety, parang dun ko na-realize kung ano yung anxiety. Because when I was younger, it was normal for me. Parang yung kaba ko, yung paghinga ko, yung nginig ko, I thought it was just part of me. And then later on, when I heard people talking about anxiety and depression and mental health issues, I started to think to myself, wait a second.
Wait lang.
Parang,
it
ako
ticks
ba
all
to?
the boxes.
Yeah. And then I remember the very first time, this was in Ateneo CFAM, CEFAM. That's the name of the place. It's a ministry that helps people with their mental health. And pay what you can siya because it's subsidized by, I don't know. It's a non-profit organization, institution, I'm not sure. But basically, nung time na this was pre-pandemic pa. Naalala ko, I was gonna miss my appointment because my car, I think either may kumuha ng susi ko or may gumamit ng sasakyan ko. So, hindi ko alam kung aabot ba ako doon. Tapos, iyak ako na iyak, nasa angkas ako. Umiyak ako kasi akala ko di ako aabot. Tapos takot ako na ma-miss ko siya. Because I realized at that moment that oh my gosh, I needed professional help so bad that I was so desperate to get there. Pero umabot naman ako, and that was my first experience with counseling. So, counseling pa yon. So, kasi there's a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is a doctor talaga that prescribes the meds, blah blah blah. It's more medical. There's a psychologist who can help you process your emotions, figure out, etc., etc. And they can also refer you to a psychiatrist. And then, yeah, so para basically yun yung main difference. And yung na-experience ko was mostly talk therapy lang. So, usap-usap ganyan. And for a long time, yun, ganun ako. And then, as I grew older and I tried to manage it, nag-evolve din yung needs ko and my mental health needs. So, ganun siya. But to start things off, just to build up this conversation before we get to the steps and whatnot, let's start with, how do you identify the state of your mental health? Paano mo nalalaman kung ano yung maganda sa'yo for your mental health and what's not good for your mental health?
Again, it boils down to self-awareness. Kung I take an inventory of things.
Huwag ka mahiya. Be unapologetically you.
I take an inventory. I have an inventory of activities that energizes me and depletes my energy. So mga activities that energizes me, definitely these are yun nga, fitness, working out, number 1 talaga sa akin. Next is sleep. Yan, masaya talaga ako. Ang daldal ko kapag 9 hours ang tulog ko. Ganon.
Today, nakatulog ka ba?
Yes, of course. 8 hours of sleep. Hello, per sleep. Pinaghandaan, yes. And then, ano ba? Being with energy-giving people. Like your family.
You're
like
welcome.
Recording Camp Confidence. Being with Madam Ayn Bernos. Ayan. So, yun yung mga, o kaya, parang, when you're near the body of water, or my sunshine, diba?
Sunshine. You know, sun is so important, like sunlight, so important.
Yeah. Tsaka don't quote me on this, but this improves parang your circadian rhythm.
Yeah. Oh, I read that too, na when you have enough sunlight in the day, it's easier for you to sleep at night.
Yep. It regulates the melatonin in your body.
Yeah.
Sobrang nerd ko din with sleep eh. Parang I've read quite a few books about sleep. So, ayun. So, and I identify yung mga energy giving tsaka mga energy depleting.
Like?
Yung, so far, yung nasa listahan ko, ang energy depleting ko is numbers. Accounting.
How does that affect your mental health?
Parang,
like in
I
what
feel
way?
like physically, it manifests sa akin. Parang, ang ganun ng stomach ko, tapos ang tigas ng shoulders ko. Tapos I feel like parang hindi ako makahinga ng maayos. Numbers or ano pa ba? Difficult conversations.
Oh,
difficult. Like if you are an entrepreneur, medyo madalas to eh. Parang okay, dealing with a difficult situation, like could be a supplier or could be an employee, or alam kong i-confront nila ako kasi ako yung mali. Alam mo yun, yung mga ganong instances. So ganon siya. It also depletes me kapag puyat ako. Ayoko talagang napupuyat, madam. It's really very important to me yung tulog.
Meron ka bang bagay na naka-affect sa mental health mo that you've eliminated completely? You were like, this is bad for my mental health. I'm gonna stay away from this. Bye. Kasi, like, for example, the numbers, the difficult things, that's something you have to live with.
Yeah. It's
so you
something that
manage it.
Yeah. I manage
meron ka bang tinakwil? Tinakwil?
Oh my gosh. People? Charot.
Yeah. That's true.
Because, ano talaga, there are certain relationships or friendships na it has to be cut off from your life. Dati, as a recovering people pleaser, I would still stick around kahit, alam mo yun, parang hindi, parang people would, or this certain person backstabs me or anything, something like that. Parang, okay, sige, I'll try to live with it. Pero ngayon na we are older and wiser, ano na, parang, ayun nga, talagang kebs to the world na ako, madam, na I don't care if you like me. Parang ngayon, it's more of, do I like you rather than will they like me? Like, if I go into a room na parang first time ko lang doon, parang dati ang tanong ko is, shocks, magugustuhan kaya nila ako as a people pleaser? But now, it's okay. Magugustuhan ko kaya yung group na to? Ganun. It's more of like that. Ano pa ba? Pero yung mga na-cut off ko, yes, relationships, mga ano pa ba?
Mga ano, did you have vices before? Parang hindi naman,
I
never
did
ka
not
naman.
have vices. Wala. Ano, yung puyat. Dati mahilig ako magpuyat. Na parang, hindi ko na talaga kaya. Ganon.
Ako kasi, the reason I asked that is, may mga bagay talaga, you know, as you grow older, you realize what gives you peace and what doesn't give you peace. And I think at the beginning of my career, I didn't have a lot of choice. Because nung nagsisimula ako, parang, yun lang yung trabaho ko eh. Yun lang yung skills ko
Wala
eh.
tayong
So wala
choice.
akong choice. But what I learned is that you can, even though you can't control your environment, you can influence what it's gonna look like. So for example, I learned that there are certain work environments that I do not want ever to be in because mentally, not just draining, but it's the anxiety that I get from certain work environments, like office politics, absolutely not. I do not have time for that. But again, when I was younger, I didn't really have a choice. You know, like,
Lalo yung mga
kailangan natin
sinisigawan
kumita.
tayo. Ganun.
Sinisigawan, or like it's not even the direct sigaw is not as scary as for me, yung mga sneaky backstaban sa office. And like when people talk about you behind your back and you don't know where you stand because how people perceive you, how your boss perceives you, that really influences how stable you are in your career, diba? So nakaka-anxious talaga siya na yung buhay mo nakasalalay sa mga tao around you. And to me, that was something that I did not want to grow old living with. So I made it a point to build skills so that I can be my own boss.
Yeah.
So that's also part of why, I mean, it's not that I work best alone because obviously we're working together and I work with my manager, ganyan. But right now, I feel like it's a peaceful setup na I've been able to work towards mapipili ko na kung sinong katrabaho ko. So, ayun, I think it's important to remember that even though you can choose now, you can build yourself up to a point na kaya mo na maimpluwensyahan kung ano yung environment mo. So yun, that was a big thing for me because there was a time in my early 20s because I took a second job, imagine. So I already had my 9 to 5 job in Makati. Nakatira ako sa QC. Lumipat akong Taft para makitira sa kapatid ko kasi meron siyang dorm. So lumipat ako para una sa lahat, yung travel time ko, umikli, di ba? I was 22. So, meron ako 9 to 5 job. I had yung base salary ko, super entry-level fresh grad. Tapos, nagkaroon ako ng jowa.
Ito na naman.
Yung jowa, ito na naman tayo sa mga jowa. Ito lagi source of my mental health problems.
Diba? Yun.
Pero, so I was 22, and then my ex back then, he's a great guy, but he lived abroad. He lived in Japan. So in order for me to afford that relationship at bilang feeling strong, independent woman, hindi ko magabayad ng flight ko. Sabi ko, hindi. 22 ako, wala akong pake. Ako to, kaya ko to. Alam mo, looking back, no. Pagbayarin mo siya, hayaan mo siya. I took a second job. So meron ako 9 to 5. Meron akong second job that was also full-time.
Huh?
Also full-time. But my boss was Canadian and he's honestly the best. So nice, so understanding. And honestly, if it were any other boss, matagal na siya na-give up sa akin. But ang bait talaga ng boss ko na yan. But the job was email marketing. Email marketing. So, ang trabaho ko was to send out emails to other websites in the wedding industry so that I can write for them for free a blog post, because at that time SEO talaga was like the number one thing. That was before TikTok, before everything. So like my job was to pitch to them my idea of writing a free blog post. I'm gonna do everything. The only thing is that I ask to be linked. Like parang I'll link our website ng company that I worked for in their blog post.
Okay.
So parang
Para
what
may
it,
website hits rin.
yes.
Okay.
So what it does, it is tumataas yung ranking namin sa Google because so many other websites in the same niche reference us. So yun yung trabaho ko. So imagine in a week, my job Mondays, I'll send out 30 emails pitching this. The next day, 15 of those emails come back. Mag-respond sila sa akin. After ng 15 emails na yun, ang mag-yes, siguro mga 5. 5 companies. So that's 5 original articles I have to write.
Yeah.
Wedding industry. Like how many topics about wedding dresses and what to wear, who to invite. Like how many topics can I realistically post in a week? But then the thing is, mag-accumulate yon. So that's week 1. Week 2, I send another 30 emails.
Yeah.
5 more,
Oh
5
gosh,
more,
oo
5
nga,
more.
no?
So you imagine how many people I'm talking to. And now looking back, I know now I hate talking to people. I hate
Really?
talking to people online. I don't like notifications.
Okay.
I don't like emails. That's why I have a manager. Because
Right,
this has been my roadblock from the beginning. I don't like negotiating. I don't like talking to people about deliverables because it's such a stressful thing for me. I get anxious about people not getting what they want or explaining to people my time because I'm such a people pleaser. I especially then. So ngayon, iniisip ko, shucks, like
I need to adjust.
malilate ako. So paano ko gagawin lahat? Paano ko sasabihin na malilate ako? Pero just imagine I had 30 conversations ongoing. Like tuloy-tuloy yung conversations na yun.
Oh God.
And then I was like, di ko kaya. And this was my biggest regret ever because my boss was such a great person. I went AWOL.
Okay.
I was his one employee. And I was like, di ko kaya.
Bye.
Like, anxiety, shut down. I had a panic attack. I was like, I deleted my email app from my phone. Deleted. As in, like, zero contact for 2 weeks until finally I mustered up the courage to just open my email. Like, alam mo yun, like, I didn't even want to touch it. Like, parang, as in, like, I didn't want to look at it. So I wrote this long email just apologizing that I really can't do it. Okay, to on top of that, this was the time na I had just broken up with that ex and he was my fiance. So we were about to get married. So bukod dun sa anxiousness ko around talking to other people, I was also getting triggered every single day because it's a wedding website. So wedding. Hindi matutuloy yung wedding ko. Di matutuloy yung wedding ko. So like, how do I deal with this? So like, just the overall, every single day was a trigger for me. As in, I just mustered up all the courage I had left just so I can send that email to my boss and parang, I'm so sorry. Like, this is really, like, this has been such an awful time for me. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And looking back, I know I could have handled it so much better. But at the same time, that's all I had at that moment. Na I just needed to let it go. It was honestly an ideal work environment because he paid me well. He paid me better than my day job did. And it was a work from home setup, remote work. That time, wala nang mga ganun masyado, di ba?
It's not a thing. Okay.
But I had to tell myself that there are things na I need to let go in order to gain myself back. Because, yes, at the moment, financially, that was not, the best choice. But I needed to be my best self in order to make money anyway. Like, I cannot, this is not sustainable. At one point, this is going to be too much for me. And ano mangyayari din, di ba? So, I needed to build my career on a foundation that was solid, stable. I needed to be doing something I can do for a long time. I can do happily.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, even though at the beginning I had, syempre, growing pains nawala yung gantong trabaho, nawala yung ganyan. I was like, it's okay. It's okay for now. As long as nakakakain ako, nababayaran ko yung bills ko, I'll take that I'll cut I'll cut my losses. Magtitipid ako in ways that I can. But I need to set a foundation that will allow me to have a happy career so I can do it well and do it consistently.
Yeah. Sobrang importante talaga, madam, na you really, really enjoy what you're doing. Kasi in every aspect or in every industry, mahirap talaga. As in, content
Mahirap
creation,
siya
mahirap.
eh.
Podcasting, mahirap. Hosting,
Entrepreneurship,
mahirap. Entrepreneurship, my
mahirap.
God, diba? So, um, bilang nandito na tayo, madam, sa grabe tayo magtrabaho, can we talk more about our connection with work-life balance and how do we
Ooh.
protect our mental health as people, as women who
Mm-mm.
works so much?
I guess. It starts at the planning stage.
Eto na.
Planning
Planning
stage,
talaga.
as always. You need to set yourself up for success. I guess through the years, you'll realize what your triggers are, where you're best, what kind of situation and environment you can really thrive. And once you've identified that, and you cannot identify this without trying a bunch of different things. So
Mhm.
honestly, exploration is key. You don't have to quit your job to do this. You can, have sidelines. You can dip your toes into many different opportunities and situations, but you need to identify your strong suit. What is most peaceful for you? There's no real perfect job,
Yeah.
but you need to figure out where you can do best. Kasi honestly, sobrang naniniwala ako na any industry you can succeed and make and be wealthy, but you need to be in a place where you're comfortable, where you're happy to grow. So pag na-figure out mo yun, then you can start crafting your life around it. Because there are people who are so, so good at corporate.
Yeah.
I could never, but there are people who do so well climbing the corporate ladder,
Mhm.
and they, like, happy
Galing.
sila.
Oo.
I know I can't do it, so I need to figure it out, Like, it's not an option for me to be miserable there. So I need to figure it out. It's not about the easy way out. It's about making sure that whatever effort you put in right now, your future self is gonna thank you later.
Kailangan nating piliin ang klase ng hirap na kaya nating
Yeah.
tiisin. Wah!
Yeah, yung kaya
Na
natin.
happy tayong tiisin.
Yeah, ang layo kasi talaga, madam. As in,
Oo.
mentally, yung stress ko as a content creator, I love it. It's good stress. Like, I'm so grateful for the stress versus stress ko as, let's say, an entrepreneur. Honestly, like, yung stress ko as an entrepreneur, debilitating. Like nanginginig ako, like, customer service. Scary ng customer service. Yeah, see, like, we're so different in that way. Like, customer service makes me so anxious. I went to my second therapist. Yun yung trigger ko. Customer service yung trigger ko. Why I went back to therapy and I got a psychiatrist. It was
I
customer
didn't know
service.
about
You don't know this?
that. No.
Yeah. So, I was doing Morena the Label. Kasama ko si Simon. Tapos, nandun kami yung first office namin sa Fairview. Ayun na, second office namin. Katabi ng, yung gilid ng bahay ng lola ko. Tapos, nung time na yun, and again, this is good stress supposedly kasi ang dami naming orders. Because merong artista na nag-post ng shirt namin. Tapos, ang dami namin orders. Syempre, di ba dapat happy ako? Madam, nanginginig ako. Like, ang dami namin orders. Like, parang, nanginginig ako, di ako makahinga. As in, I needed to step out. Like, ganon. Like, grabe anxiety ko. Tapos, I went to my doctor and yeah, I started getting on meds because of that. Tapos parang ako like, I cannot. Like, if ganito yung effect niya sa akin and it's not getting any better. Like, I tried. I delegated it, ganyan. Parang ako, worth it ba to? There are things na worth it, may hindi. Ako, I found na hindi siya worth it. So, yeah, I had to do something else.
I super love customer care. Parang it's really a challenge for me kapag kunwari merong naiiritang client.
Nakakatakot mo
Favorite ko yun. Kasi parang how do I make her happy? How do I turn this around? Parang ganun siya sa akin. Especially with entrepreneurship, madam. I think ito yung kind ng hirap na gusto kong ma-experience. Parang, okay, so if there's a different industry I'm going into, like right now, real estate, hospitality, there are things that I still don't know and that
excites you?
Excites me. Na parang, okay, marami akong hindi alam sa industriyang to. So, how do I figure this out? So parang it sparks joy in my life, yung
Oh
ganong
my God,
challenges
cannot.
sa akin, ganon siya. So, as someone who, siguro parang nag-mesh yung planning Riza and problem solving Riza.
Yes.
Parang yun yung, ewan ko, kaya siguro ang dami kong ginagawa. Ganon. Tsaka ano din, I feel like, yun nga, again, going back, sobrang, it's something na mahirap na gusto kong pagdaanan.
Ano yung ano? So on the other hand, what's the
Yung
part of your life?
napaparalyze
Yeah,
ako.
napaparalyze ka.
Yung napaparalyze ako, madam, oh my gosh, di ko pa naman 'to masyadong na-experience. Pero, so as you would know, I also create content online, 'di ba? So, um, being canceled. Yun yung
Oh.
parang, oh my God, kaya sobrang parang shocks.
So anong na-feel mo? Because there was a Camp Confidence snippet
Ay, oo,
na walang
madam.
context eh. Kasi may nag-viral kami na TikTok na ikaw yung nagsasalita
Ayan.
and then hindi kompleto yung context. So people were saying stuff in the comments. Ano na-feel mo nun?
Oo. Honestly, nung umpisa, parang sabi ko, "Oh, I made it in life."
May haters na ako.
May haters na ako. Tapos I actually, talked to
You
you
messaged
about
me,
it as
yeah.
well, na parang, "Madam, paano mo 'to kinakaya, yung mga sinasabi nila?" Tapos parang sabi mo, what really stuck with me was, sabi niya, sabi mo, "Riz, you know your truth. You know your intention." So parang ako, parang sabi mo, sabi mo nun parang, i-shut mo lahat ng mga taong hindi ka naman kilala talaga. So parang you know who you are, you know your truth. So, kebs to the world, ganon. So, ayun, we learned, at least we're learning from that. And ano siya, yun nga parang, I tried to compartmentalize my emotions, parang, na parang hindi. It's okay, Riz. Alam mo kung sino ka, kilala mo kung sino ka. It's not your intention. Ganon. So, ayun. Yun talaga, getting canceled pa rin. Although may one instance, parang siya, napaparalyze talaga.
Nakakatakot siya, to be fair. And I think when when I told you that hindi ko pa siya na-experience on the level that I did after. And that's true. I actually, oh my gosh, I spiraled into a depression. I spiraled into a depression after that. But what I learned in that experience is that I am very, very unfortunately human.
Yeah.
And I guess before kasi, I came from a place na if I don't do anything wrong, nothing will go wrong. But I realized that I was more than capable of making mistakes. And when you make mistakes, you just have to either you own them, you apologize for them, and you move on, you do better. And I think that's what I try to focus on. Na parang, you know what? Maybe I'll do this more in the future, but I need to be steadfast in knowing who I am. Kasi I was at the place, like parang mababa na nga ako, nangyari pa yun sa akin. And then mas lalong bumabatingin ko sa sarili ko. But now that I've recovered and I've really reflected and I've learned from my mistakes and my shortcomings, na-realize ko na importante na at all times, I hold close to my heart kung sino ako. Kasi nakalimutan ko siya, which is why it was so hard for me to recover. So now moving forward, knowing that, kailangan panindigan ko kung sino ako. Kung may mali ako, I'll say sorry.
Yeah.
But I also need to understand that I should not let go. Because what I do is so important to me. And this is something that's been my life for a long time. And I can't just let it go just because I've made a mistake. Kailangan pinaglalaban ko siya. So, ayun. I think yun yung natutuhan ko na hindi solution and hindi choice, hindi option for me to let it go dahil natakot ako. So, ito yung bagay na even though it triggers me, it terrifies me, hindi siya option for me to let go. I need to adjust. Ako yung mag-adjust dito.
Yeah, tsaka that's your thing. For me, sa'kin, entrepreneurship naman din talaga.
Yun yung mag-a-adjust
Yun
ka.
yung mag-a-adjust ako. Kasi it's really something that I love doing. As in talaga, sobrang mahal na mahal ko talaga siya to a point na yes, tama ka, there are a lot of triggers, but it's something that I want to tiis. Well, I want to
Yes.
tiis because I love the craft. I love the industry.
Yeah.
Yun nga, dahil nga sobrang mahal mo yung ginagawa mo.
Yeah. So, that being said, hindi avoidable ang triggers, hindi avoidable yung mga problems like this, yung mga, ay, lulund na lunod ka na. How do we protect ourselves? I guess, if we could do a bullet point, like, action list for our audience, our madams, like, what can we do to protect our mental health?
Number one, routines. I have a routine. Ako, hard rule ko madam sa sarili ko na first thing in the morning, I will not go on social media. I will prime myself to have a great morning. So, syempre, di ba, parang I meditate, journal, I don't touch my phone for social media unless it's an alarm. Syempre, papatayin mo, di ba? But I don't go on any social media platform unless I need it by 10 a.m. Kasi 10 a.m. yung work time ko. So that's only when I check my messenger, I message, etc. kung sino ba yan. That's number one. I don't check social media first thing in the morning. Next is I manage my notifications. I know it's also a trigger for me lalo kapag may mga red icons na number ng ilang messages na hindi ko pa nare-replyan. I turned everything off except my Telegram and iMessage. Yun lang. Tapos naka-forever do not disturb po ako. Sorry po sa mga kuya riders na hindi ko po nasasagot
OMG.
kaagad. Patawad po. Yan. So, I'm forever on the not disturb and silent. Especially if I want to deep dive on stuff. Or meron akong kailangang isulat or kailangang isolve. Ganyan, naka-D&D ako. What else? Yeah. Ang work messages ko lang is from 10 a.m. till sagad na yung 9 p.m. After that, wala na. And then parang gusto ko rin siyang gawing culture sa company namin na we only chat each other during your work days. Work hours, work days. And then, yun nga, kapag sumasagot pa rin sila, bakit kayo sumasagot? Bakit? Ano na, hindi ka nabayad dito sa oras na to. Huwag kang sumagot sa akin. Ganon. Pero, dati, nung hindi ko pa na-discover, one app I can recommend, by the way, lalo sa mga entrepreneurs, kasi 'di ba kapag tayo, meron tayong naisip na thought at 10:30 p.m. na ayaw nating makalimutan the next day, ang tendency natin is i-message na natin sa subordinates natin or sa team natin. One app that I really love is Telegram because
you can schedule.
yes,
Love that.
Telegram allows you to schedule your messages, not an ad. It allows you to schedule your messages na pwedeng the next working day mo na niya isend.
Yeah.
So, kunwari, may thought ako 10:30 p.m. Okay, I'll schedule it by 10 to send 10 a.m. the next day. Ganon siya.
That's so nice. Yeah. Boundaries are so important in general. Like, if you have good boundaries, chances are you also have good boundaries for your mind.
Yeah.
Siguro ako, number one thing is to really harness your self-confidence and your identity. Know who you are. Because I guess personally, my depression came from my lack of self-worth. And then obviously, like, more than just that, it was chemical. It was in my brain. But it would have helped, siguro, if I didn't have such a low self-esteem that time. Kasi sunod-sunod yun eh. Like, I got cheated on, and then I got canceled back to back, and then, like, I wasn't doing a very good job at my job, and I felt like I was so worthless in my head na parang it was hard to fight my depression. So I was very lucky that I had access to therapy and I had access to meds. But yun yung cure na yun eh. It was post the breakdown. It was post spiraling. But I guess in terms of protecting it, number one, like you said, setting boundaries. And not just with your planning, your time. It's also important to set boundaries with people. Na, okay, once you see signs of people treating you with disrespect, the first sign of it, leave.
Push back.
Push back. Stand up for yourself. Because I didn't do that. And I made so many excuses for people na in hindsight, my gosh, I was letting them walk all over me. And when finally the truth came to light, I realized na, oh my gosh, hinayaan ko yun. And because it's over time, I've let people step on me and disrespect me. By the time na everything came crashing down, ang baba na ng tingin ko sa sarili ko. I didn't have anything to fight my depression. I was just like I was just in bed, like I didn't want to get up, I don't want to work, I didn't want anything. And nawalan talaga ako ng ano, that because that's what it feels like. That's what depression feels like. Wala akong purpose. And ako, like I'm such a purpose-driven person, and my whole life, even though I was anxious, even though I was dealing with my mental health pretty badly, I always wanted something. I wanted to achieve something, anything. That point, I was like, what's the point? Like, why post? Like, why exist? Ganun talaga siya, and it's debilitating. So when you experience that, sometimes all you need is professional help. Sometimes you need help talaga. Ask for help from other people, support, emotional support. You have your friends, your family, turn to other people. If you have access to therapy, go to therapy, go see a doctor. But hopefully it doesn't get there, because when you take care of your self mentally naman, you set yourself up rin for success. I mean, it's not easy, but when you're equipped with the right things, resources, habits, routines, it gets easier. So now I can say na I really have a good circle of people in my life. I'm really happy that I'm able to enforce respect and demand respect that I know I deserve. And also, I've been able to let go of things that are mentally affecting me. So I guess that awareness has been really key to bring my mental health back up again. Kasi again, wala akong magawa when that was happening. But now, I exercise, I eat well, I sleep. I am surrounded by good people, and I feel like even though it's still an everyday battle, it's a battle that I'm equipped for. And hindi na ako matatalo.
Yeah.
So, ayun.
Ako one last, madam. One thing that helped my mental health, aside from ensuring boundaries, yung ano talaga, madam, yung fitness talaga. I would never, parang hindi
It's good for your mind.
Yeah, it's
so
really good
your
for endorphins, tama ba? Tama. It gives you endorphins after. Parang wala kang workout na pinagsisihan after.
Yeah.
Ganon. So it really did help me with my discipline, parang accountability, yung parang voting confidence for yourself, ganyan na, wow, nag-show up na siya, she lifting weights or whatever. So yun talaga, sobrang nang-help din sa akin yung fitness, nutrition, sleep.
Yeah. I mean, ang galing talaga na when you take care of your mind, you take care of your body consequently. And when you take care of your body, sometimes you're also taking care of your mind. And it's like, if you are holistically healthy, it's just such a good place to be. So mga madam, I hope that you guys got a little bit from this episode. I do have on my Instagram, that's at Ayn Bernos, I do have an Instagram highlight with resources for mental health services. There's mga free ones, there's paid ones. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to message us at Camp Confidence Radio and at Rizza Lana.
Yes, and at Ayn Bernos. And please don't forget to rate us minimum 5 stars. And thank you again so much, mga madam. And we will see you on the next one.
Bye! Stay confident!